it's so interesting when there's something going on that time changes, that completely changes. So then I was ready. It's like, okay, maybe I don't know where I want to be, and I don't know, this city is fascinating. Well, you know already, but you have like people from everywhere. You listen to 10 different languages just in one train.
Yeah.
And the multicultural approach is, for me, is very important because keeps you awake, keeps you open, keeps you meeting different people all the time. And then there's a lot of nature in Berlin. For being a big city,
Yeah.
it's like there's so much nature. So it's that combination, it's like nature and people from everywhere. So it's like having a tiny piece of, the culture of the countries.
Okay. I think it's one of the top 3 B cities in the world. I think of
Mhm.
Barcelona, Buenos Aires, and Berlin on a similar category. You
Okay.
you strike me as a mosaic of sorts, not just because of the tattoos that I see on your body, which are really striking and beautiful, but also because of all the cities you've named, all the different influences. How do you introduce
Mhm.
yourself to new people? I imagine you must meet new people often as an expat, in
Yeah,
different cities. How do you introduce yourself?
yeah, as Argentinian, no doubt. That's for sure. It's like I don't know, that's I don't know, embedded in the DNA, and were you born with that? That's because I've been reading some of articles, and I watched this short video of you. Just the video was enough to have the perception, oh no, we can have a beautiful conversation. This guy is like, you're so kind. You strike to me so kind and so open-minded and wanted to be good. That's
Mm.
what I would say about you. It's like you want to do the right things. And so no, I mean, I'm not surprised that you're going deeper and deeper into people and their minds and because I don't know, it's like you're a people person for sure, but I don't know. So I was just like, I'm so happy about doing this and meeting him. And but I don't know if you were born in Buenos Aires or in the States.
So I was born in Buenos Aires, yes.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I had the same feeling
Yeah,
about you, reading
yeah,
your
okay.
work, and reading about the history of your life, the places you've been, starting with psychiatric hospitals, but also
Mm.
Burasco, I think is the
Uh-huh.
pronunciation. Just seeing the
Bursaco. Yeah.
Bursaco, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Just
Mm.
seeing the trajectory you've taken, and then the semi exit from psychology because
Yeah, it's semi. Yeah. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
coming into
Yeah.
writing
You're right. Yeah.
with a very important psychological imprint too. So I was equally
Uh-huh.
excited to speak to you. Today's also a very rainy morning, which was excellent weather for reading your novel in verse. So yeah, no, the admiration is mutual. You're listening to Therapy for the World, an interview series with kind, thought-provoking people working along the spectrum of self-care and world care. I'm Dan, a writing therapist and teacher, and this is my conversation with Lili Pazos, a writer and psychologist who has lived around the world. We recorded this conversation in early 2024, so it's a bit outdated, but hopefully still fresh. Happy listening. I do see some words in your writing that are very German-like. Of course, they're in Spanish, but they're
Oh,
composite
like
words.
what?
Debajo del
Oh
mundo,
yeah.
pensamiento actor
Oh,
protagonista, mujer
that's so.
libre, océano.
Oh my, I just I love you saying that. Thanks. Actually, just thanks for saying it because before coming here, I didn't know a word of German really. Like it was those languages that is like I don't even know when the a word ends and when another one starts, and have no idea. Like with all the Latin languages, if you have a little bit of a good ear, you can catch up everything or at least a little bit, always. But with this language, it was like, oh, okay, I have no clue whatsoever. So I started doing courses, I still don't speak. I mean, I finished B1, but I consider myself absolutely a beginner. I say I need to assimilate, all the information I have because it's a lot. Uh, but I'm kind of fascinated about this, Lego language, and it's so hard, but at the same time, I think it's so beautiful and so it's so interesting. I never thought about what you're saying. It's like, but it's true that
Yeah,
I had that in my mind already. I was like,
sure.
yeah, anticipating it. That's so
The
interesting.
German
I
language
love words.
has a lot of beautiful things. The German language. One of the ones that we're, I guess, appreciating right now is the composite words that like combine an
Hmm.
infinite number of
Yeah.
words sometimes into one word with
No,
no
yeah.
spaces. And
Yeah.
another thing that's also beautiful is the use of prepositions in German. And you're right, even if one does not stick to German as their language, English and Spanish are also important languages for you. It kind of like follows you into the other languages. This desire to bring things to mosh posh a lot of different words together.
And no, yeah, no, but it's so interesting because I mean, I always have this idea, and I've heard other people saying the same thing. I don't know, because you're properly bilingual. I became fluent in English just traveling. But I never lived in a country where English is the official language or anything like it. Just the one I used to be able to communicate. But I mean, you're proper bilingual. But absolutely agree with the idea that you a little bit kind of change when you're using a different language, and the kinds of thing, there are a couple of things, even regarding to personality, that they are, I don't know, uh, stronger with one language or the other one. Although I'm moving a lot of my hands now, like what I'm saying. But yeah, there's something about probably the words you choose. That there's something about it, it's different. It's there's something that is related to, well, to the language, and even if you're, well, when you're talking to someone that is also bilingual, sometimes you use words that are more effective in the other language, so you start mixing them. And but it's absolutely true that it opens, every language opens a different door inside.
Yeah.
So when that door is open, you can start, you know using or catching up, what you see in there is it's interesting. But I love words. It's just, there's something about, well, the symbols, but I love words. So although, I don't love grammar, let me tell you, I don't like, I don't love it, but I love, of course, being able to communicate, but I love the words. I love, like, they're like, not just a symbol, like, they are almost objects,
Yeah.
it's like everything that comes with a word. So in that sense, like, being a psychologist, studying psychology, reading, writing, is that there are words everywhere. Like, words are like, yeah,
I'm going to read something that you
one of them.
wrote about words. And we're going to do a little bit of live translation
Okay.
because it's in Spanish. Uh, the word as a tool to announce truths in such a way that you can look them in the eyes and sustain the gaze, right?
Mm. Yeah.
That's something that occurs when you write something down on a page, as opposed to saying it where it
Mm.
kind of just filters on by like the wind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So writing is
That's
something
right.
you came to. At what point in your trajectory did you start writing?
Uh, well, I studied probably like every writer, like when you're a teenager and you're, I don't know, depressed in a way, or in a teenage way, like, it's like, you feeling, I don't know, the angst, that you're feeling something that is like, okay, well, this is the world, but nothing serious, back then. And then it's funny because, when I never had any doubts about the psychology as my career, although I was being interested in arts. I've been, I know I'm also a photographer, and I've been doing a couple of things regarding arts. Uh, but I just love, every time I need to do something related to any paper I need to write in college. I loved it. It was like, oh yeah, this, I have to write this, and it's like, I was like too excited. Um, and then, but yeah, after years of finishing college, I started like, okay, no, I need this channel. I need this channel to communicate, like, but I need this channel to become wider, not just for myself or for my thoughts. And I don't know, I think it was 30. something, but no, yeah, 30 something, that I started like writing fiction, but then remained there, like for another couple of years, so it's like a long, yeah, for me, it was a very long process. I think, yeah, every once in a while there will be something that changed the sort of the status, of the situation. It's like, and it became more and more serious, let's say. And when I decided to finish all the everything related to the, to psychotherapy, probably end up doing something related to social stuff, because I'm very interested in, I don't know, whatever, immigration or refugees. This is a city where you can do something interesting regarding that, and I will probably end up doing something like that. I already have my degree validated for Germany, so
That's huge.
happy.
That's really,
Yeah,
really important.
yeah, yeah. But there was a time that I thought, okay, and I truly love my patients. I'm so grateful with all the people I met along the way, and it's been, but I'm not sure if it's this year. No, next year it would be like 30 years that I finished, university. So it's like it's a good time to shift. And this year I'm doing this shift, and I started to have this very strong feeling that it was a time, for my stories. It's like, okay, I've been listening to many stories, and it was telling you again, I could be more grateful. But it's like, now I have this urge of telling my stories, and I have to do it,
Yeah.
because it's very, very strong. And then, well, the series of the essays is going to keep going. Now I finished one. It's about control, and that's about all the. It's more. The other one was, yeah, the psychiatric hospital, and now it's going to be more about, yeah, the all the psychotherapy I've been doing, and
Yeah.
it's as well stories about trips and personal stories, and then that psychology, like the psychology eye as well, is there. So the essays are going to keep coming, but it's like, yeah, I have to do that so strongly. And when you write, you can reach people you don't know as well. And you can reach, I don't want to say more people because it's not about the quantity, but you can, I don't know, there's
Yes.
something that goes through a different, with patients, it's so strong, the connection is so, but it's two people,
Yeah.
and it's very, very, very strong. But with the writing, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say it's a bigger door because it's completely different, but there's something about being able to cross other bridges, sort of. Um, yeah, I would say something like that. Like, and well, of course, everything we do is embedded with our own history and what we need and what we learn about ourselves. And so, I think it's great, like being over 50 and okay, shifting my whole career. It's like it's crazy, but I'm loving it at the same time,
Yeah.
you know. But it's like it's now. I mean, I have to do it now. It's a very strong feeling that is I have to do it now.
Was it 0 to 100 that you stopped seeing patients from one day to another, or do you still hold on to a couple
No,
patients? Yeah.
no, no. I stopped. It was very slowly. I like maybe 3 years ago. I had like lots of patients, and because of all the years I've been working, I had many patients that they would do one session or a couple of sessions that will finish already years ago. And it's like, oh, I want to treat something very specific, and
Yeah.
you cannot do something with a new one, but with someone that knows the process, you can totally do a
Sure.
couple of sessions.
Yeah.
So I stopped taking new patients already living in Bali. It's like I'm not going to take anyone new because I know I can risk. I mean, they're long processes, So, um, and then March last year, everyone knew that okay, I'm not taking any new ones, because they would ask me, I want to really. It's like no, I'm just not taking a new one. And March last year, I told the ones that were I was still working with, at the end of the year, I will finish every process that is ongoing.
Yeah.
So I did it very slowly, very, it was, I thought it was the most responsible way,
Yeah.
slowly. And yeah, so I told everyone like almost a year in advance, it's like, this is going to be the last year. And December was crazy because it was beautiful. It was very
Wow.
touching and it was very strong. It's like, okay, so I started January with so weird not to have any not be worried about, it's like was so strange, but it's I don't know, because I knew, I mean, to be totally honest, like I knew that if I would last year I thought, okay, if I keep doing this, because many people ask, but why don't you, just you don't have to put a you don't have you don't need a deadline or anything. It's like, no, yeah, I do, because now I know I can still put my 100%.
Mm.
My soul is in every session. If not, I don't want to do it. And if I keep doing it because I really want to go, now I'm writing a novel that is going to happen in Berlin, and I need a lot of time. Not just real time, but I need inner time for that. And I thought I had actually a couple of patients that they asked, oh, but they were like, oh, but you got like they were a little bit worried. They said, well, but what if I need you? What is like? And my answer was, I mean, you don't know me, but you know me. You know how I
Mm.
work. And if I keep doing this next year, I'm not going to be able to put 100%, and I don't want to do it 100%. I said, oh, just yeah, say no more. I mean, I totally get that. I know the way you are, the way I feel you put 100%. So so it was so clear because I was, although I was so honest, I was really honest, and it's like I need to do this, and I need to make the shift
Yeah.
because if not, it's not. Yeah.
Lili, what was your stance on self-disclosure as a therapist during your practice?
Mm.
I suppose I ask because
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
entered a stage of self-disclosure, right? Like writing is bearing your soul,
Yeah.
and your writing is
Yeah.
very it's beautiful because it's for one of the reasons it's beautiful is because it shares so intimately about what you
Hmm.
experience and see
Thank you.
and saw.
Hmm.
It's a very intimate view in a way that feels crude and that opens one up as well, and encourages one to also reveal because there's no alternative to revealing. So what was your take on that as a therapist, and is it much different now
Mm.
that you're bearing it all?
Yeah, no, well, thanks for your words. Your beautiful words, and I really appreciate because that's the intention, really. uh, I mean, of course, I would share. I would share things that were related to what the other one was talking about, and when if I could transform something about my experience or an anecdote or whatever into knowledge that would help the other one, I would use it, no doubts. Even even really personal stuff, because uh, you um I mean, this was I didn't think it rationally when I started doing this, but if I can totally, I'm pretty sure about what I'm going to answer. Is like when you are so, I mean, when you put it there, like when you, it's like, uh, and you share something that happened to you that is very private, and you compel the other one to do something about. It's like it's easier to expect responsibility, and the one that is listening takes it that way. Like for example, um, I was planning this trip, around East Southeast Asia. I thought it was going to be a trip, and then I started adding so much stuff. It's like, oh, but I would love to finish the poem. I would love to. It's like this is, and it was going to be a month and a half, which is a lot for a holiday. But it's like it was not going to be enough for everything I wanted. So I realized, okay, no, it's not going to be a trip. It's going to be a sort of trip just to find a place to stay and live. That's going to be the experience actually. So I did that. I, so. well, that trip was amazing. Ended up choosing Bali. So I went back to Buenos Aires to organize stuff and talk to my patients. And it's like, okay, paint my house, rent it. It's like, okay, put everything in order to leave. And I wrote this email to my patients saying, uh, well, something general, and then it's like, I need to share this with you. I have this very strong desire. Uh, I really want to live in Asia. It's something I always wanted to, and I'm realizing it's like I have to do it because now it's pretty common. But in 2017, it was not common. It was like, what, working on? It's like, you're working online. It was like weird.
Yeah.
So I told them, I really want to do this. I'm dreaming about this. I really want to do it. So if you want to keep working with me, we need to figure it out how. It's going to be some sort of, video call or something. And if you're not comfortable with with a format, well, we'll talk about it. I will help you find another therapist, but I needed to give you the heads up on this. And some of the answers were on the line of, wow, like, well, this is a big news. And it's like, well, you're working with me. One of the things you're working with me is for me to acknowledge my desire, or for me to do, like, be responsible with what I really want to do. And you're doing it. So although I'm worried about the format, or I'm worried about, missing you or whatever, it's like, you're sort of, being the example on this. And so I had uh, many answers like that. And that was also so touching, like very moving. And it's like, oh, yeah, of course I will follow you wherever. So it was beautiful. So it was very nice because I could keep working until I think it was one patient that said, well, I'm not uncomfortable with what then everybody started doing. That is like, okay, hi, I'm here again because I didn't want to, but but just one, and that it was. Of course, I understood, but
Yeah.
probably that's a good example about what I was saying before. It's like, when you are okay, yeah, I want to do this. I really want to do this, and I'm asking you, just go for it. I mean, you really want to do that? Just go for it. Because I'm 100% sure that this is for everyone. I mean, you perceive when the other one is telling you the truth or not. And this is not even about the truth. You can totally perceive, although maybe it's not in the conscious level, but when when your therapist is telling you that you have to confront a situation, you can there's going to be a part in your body or in your brain or in the stomach or whatever you want to, but somewhere, uh, for many people it's the stomach, like sort of feeling. Uh, it cannot even be, you cannot even be aware, but you'll know if the other one can confront or not. Because, I mean, of course, we therapists, I mean, well, you know that. I mean, we all have issues. We all have things we have to solve. We all have, of course, we all have our darkness, and of course. But one thing is having things to work, with, or things that you need to work in or to be better or whatever. But another one is not being uh, not being responsible with this. Or I would actually, this is a challenge for you. How would you translate hacerse el boludo?
That's a beautiful phrase. Playing stupid.
Okay. So one thing is, okay, yeah, of course I need to work on this and this and that, but I'm not playing stupid. I will never play that. I will never play stupid. And the people know it's the same on the other. Oh, I saw your speech at the university. I loved it. And I can tell that you really believe those words. I can tell that. I mean, if you're saying that, and the other one, I mean, doesn't the words, they don't arrive to the same place. They don't.
I hear
It's
you.
like when so and we can, I don't know, I can give you so many examples. If you believe in someone, if you truly believe, the person will have an extra, sort of extra energy that's going to come from your belief. in the
Yeah.
and it's going to be more powerful. And that's no bullshit. I mean, that's, I know 100% for sure that really works. That really works. It works, of course, with a parent and a child, and it works with a therapist and a patient. Like when you truly believe in what you are suggesting the other one, you do whatever to confront, to do, to just go for it. But when you are trusting the other one can make that leap of, I don't know, it can be a leap of faith, or it can be adjust, or it can be, I don't know, whatever turn. Uh, but it's about that. So when you are honest about something you're sharing, and the purpose is to give the other one some, I don't know, a little bit more strength, or a little bit more whatever relief, or it's so powerful. So I think it can be very useful, because it's not the same if I tell you my own story that if I tell, oh, like that, of course you can also use, oh, I had a patient once, or, I know someone, of course. But if I'm looking you into the eyes and I tell you, uh, I don't know, in that situation, I was scared.
Yeah.
I was scared because it's way more powerful. It's way more powerful. And if I say, and I don't know, whatever the situation, but when you're, yeah, like um, even suggesting, because many times it's interpretation, many times it's just connecting dots, but many times you can also suggest, and when the suggestion comes from a place that is authentic, it is stronger.
Yeah. Lots of
It's way stronger.
lots of truth in what you're sharing. It's also true that reading your work is a therapeutic experience insofar as it speaks to parts of one that one then feels as well. You speak a lot about darkness and depth within
Mhm,
one, and the mere naming of it on your behalf activates it in a way also in one, or visceral
mhm,
experiences in the body, and in the making of love, or in fear, in childhood experiences that wake things up in one as well, right? I think that's partly
mhm.
what you're suggesting, that when one names something,
Yeah.
it resonates in another in a
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great word. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Mhm.
So, a lot of places we can go with this. You mentioned bridges, and there and doors, and there's so many doors I'd like to open. One place I wouldn't want to leave without talking about with you is El Borda, which is
Okay.
a psychiatric hospital here in
Mhm.
Buenos Aires.
The
It's
biggest one in Buenos Aires. Yeah.
the biggest one. I'd love for you to tell me about it. I've been hearing about El Borda since I was a child. My mom once also did some sort of
Mhm.
internship or experience there as a musical therapist, and I know that
Oh, okay.
a lot of different professionals, especially mental health professionals, have gone
Mhm.
through El Borda, and it's an institute that almost extends its physical reach beyond its walls, because it's just so spoken about in a
Mhm.
certain segment of
Yeah.
society. How did you end up there? What was your impression of it, and what do you understand by El Borda? Which you then took your experience from that to write your essay on
Yeah. Yeah.
madness, a really
Mhm.
troubling, beautiful essay.
Um, well, I had this encounter with, with madness being a child, like I tell in the essay, with this uncle. That was, I had a beautiful relationship with him. So for me, it was like I wasn't afraid. It was great thing that I wasn't afraid. Right, the opposite. It's like it wasn't his own words, so I could be my own. So, the interested, the interest in madness came, being like really a child. And I actually, I've been to the Borda when I was very little, but I couldn't get inside because there you have to be older to get in, not in other places, but there you have to be like, you have to be older. So, madness was always, I was like fascinated in the whole career because I was so curious about that. And for me, it was like obvious, oh, everyone is going to be interested about this. And I couldn't be, that's really further from the truth because many people say, I would just never work on that field.
Yeah.
So, um, during the career, there was this, it was a sort of, practice that you could choose. And like Borda is the palace of madness in
Yes.
Buenos Aires.
That's a beautiful
It
way to
is the
put it.
palace of madness. So of course I chose a place, and because you know not everybody was wishing to go there, so I got really easy. So I started doing this practice, and then in the second time I chose it again, and then the third time it's like, no, you chose it already twice, so you need to change. It's like, oh, okay. So I went to another one, but I wanted to keep going there, and from day one I thought it was fascinating. First of all, because have you been there?
No.
No, because because of the year it was built, it's like a sort of a mini city. You have everything there. You have you actually this I'm not sure if it's still like open, or I don't know if it's working now. But even a jail, there's a jail inside the hospital. So there's a jail. There's a you know medical service like beyond madness and everything related, psychology and psychiatry. You have I don't know, a bar. You have a bakery. You have there's some, and you have this huge garden. You have streets. You have
Yes.
it's like because it's like a tiny city.
And what do you attribute that to? Why was a city built there?
Because to protect society from the crazy.
Yeah.
And it's incredible because of course when I started, so when I finished university I thought, okay, I really want to go there, and I started working for free because there was no other way. And instead of going to because nowadays there are some of the some of the areas that there are lots of professionals, and they're very effective with the work they do, and great professionals and everything. But I really wanted to go into the heart of the thing. So I started in a place that was like with patients that they've been there for decades, because the psychiatric patients, they have a really long history of torture, basically, because they they didn't understand what was going on, and they were just trying stuff like they were
They didn't
infrahumans,
understand,
subhumans.
and we didn't understand either what was going on.
Exactly,
No one understood what was going
exactly,
on.
and exactly. And even nowadays, to be to be honest, but a couple of decades ago it was even worse. And so it was crazy. Even the electroshock, like that. Okay, yeah, you can say, well, there are a couple of diagnoses that even nowadays people would say, okay, yeah, it's valid for this. I mean, if you're risking death, yeah, okay, let's better do this, But the truth is that nobody knows what they're doing. They're just, discharging electricity in your brain. And of course, decades ago, they used to punish patients with this. So if you were a little bit rebel, if you were a little bit, I would say, if you were a little bit alive in the mental hospital, you would be punished
Hmm.
because you were supposed to be sedated and just don't bother anyone,
Hmm.
And it was truly horrible to see, the histories. I don't know this word in English. Like the records, the patient records, las
Yes.
historias clínicas,
Yeah.
patient records.
The clinical records.
So
Yeah.
at the clinical records, so you would, I would be tired of just passing through another electroshock, another electroshock.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh my god, like it was horrifying, like. And I remember one of these patients that he survived, he survived. His family, friends, of course, he didn't have any visit because he's been there for I don't know, had been there for 30 something years. And he would remember, it's like, yeah, I have not, it's a little bit blurry, but I do remember the days of the electroshocks, and they were so horrible, And basically, very slowly, they I don't know, they just fry a little bit of his brain, And
Mm.
so uh, one of the things that for me is fascinating is whatever in general, whatever people, humans don't understand, they are afraid of. it can be, someone talking, to the sky, or it can be a person with a different dress and different color of the skin. Whatever you don't understand, it's like, okay, just in case, and it's both horrible and also so interesting, because it's like, what's going on for you too? It's like, and what's different is so interesting for me. I behave the exact opposite. It's like, this is so interesting. I want to know more. Probably you're the same. And so I was, I don't know, and it was so nice to be able to be there and to try to really listen. And after a couple of years, I thought, okay, well, like, I think I've done everything I could do here for these people, but I want to remain here, but I want to do something that is a little bit more, I don't know, that you have more chances to work with, because so uh I had the feeling that, okay, like, it was 2-3 years I've been in this specific of the hospital. So, but still, I would see the patients. I could go and visit. So I did it very slowly. And I've heard about this group. Like it was this group of art workshops. And well, art is a language on its own. So I thought, okay, this is very interesting. And so, yeah, I just approached the place, and very soon I studied in theater, being and then I I was in charge of a magazine, which was so interesting because, for example, that magazine there were a couple of psychologists that were in charge of the magazine. That was the only, the only uh yeah, it was like, actually, um, like the channel for patients to be related to the outside world, and there were a couple of psychologists doing it. So I remember in one of the meetings where we were all, psychologists and patients, and one patient said, I really think that the magazine should be done by us, written by us. And I said, I totally agree. Like, it's like, it's actually ridiculous. It's just not happening, until now. So it's like, well, but we need to find, because I mean, there's never money available for this, of course. So we need to find someone that can run a magazine. Of course, we didn't find anyone. So I thought, okay, I can start. I mean, I can start the group. We can start thinking about what we want to do, what we want to say, what we want to, the name, and everything would just, and then, well, I will hand up, I will, uh, with everything more, ready, we can. But of course, no one appears. So afterwards, okay, I'm gonna do a magazine.
Yeah.
I cannot keep waiting. So the name, I love the name. Everything came from their patients. So the name of the magazine was Mura Shock.
Murashi.
So the the wall and the shock,
Yeah.
that from the electroshocks, but from the surprise,
Wow.
like,
Nice.
so yeah, the name was perfect. So we published a couple of magazines, and well, so just going there, I started to meet, there were patients that they were living in the hospital, and
Mm.
patients that they were, just going to a consult, that they were.
Yeah.
But the problem with that kind of hospitals, that of course nowadays they are disappearing, because you shouldn't. I mean, no one should be in a psychiatric
Institutionalized.
hospital.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So you have patients that they've been there, they've been so mistreated that that's why they're still there. Like this guy, that had, you
Yeah.
know, there's so many electroshocks. And
Well, the point of
now,
those places wasn't
yeah,
necessarily to heal people. It was just to isolate them, right? To silo them.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, it just shut up, just stay here. Now we have a different problem in Argentina, and it's like, there are many patients that they go there for the emergency. They are fine to go back, but then they don't have a place to live.
Mm.
So they remain longer because of a social issue. So
Yeah.
it's very complex. But besides that, there are so many things in the hospital, because but of course there are different approaches, because if you're in I don't know, there are some approaches that they are part of the interpretation, and they never stop being a patient. It's very interesting when you can, when the workshop can be a workshop for people, but it doesn't matter if you live in a hospital or not,
Yeah.
and one of the main ideological, um, central points of this organization was going out. So if we had a play, we would play it outside the hospital. So that's why the
Mm,
magazine was important. So if we have, okay, if
mm,
there's we play music, but outside that, so we have to go out because we
yeah,
need to fight this idea of that you need to be committed,
sure.
and to also to for people that are outside the hospital and they've never been and they don't have any clue, so they could meet people that they are in a psychiatric hospital and just, oh, it's just another people. I mean, just someone else. It's
One
just
of the
another
themes
person.
one of the themes in your work is that encounter between
Mm,
madness and sanity, if you will, which is
mm,
a completely
yeah,
fabricated distinction. There
yeah.
that's something important happens there. I wonder what it was like
Mm,
for you working at a psychiatric hospital, but then later on, as I understand it, your career did not focus on people with that type of madness, right? With the type of madness that would
no,
be
yeah,
institutionalized.
yeah, yeah. That's true. And I ask myself that question more than once. Okay, one thing is someone that ends up in a psychiatric hospital, usually they need a team. At least you need psychologists, psychiatrists. And I like working on my own. And to do that work in a proper way, you need to work with a team.
Yeah.
It's even in because I remember being in one of the creepiest places inside the hospital and going back home and thinking, well, I mean, I mean, okay, yeah, they're not enough nurses, not enough doctors. Okay, but there are responsible people here, So you could go home. Although we would joke with the people from the from the Frente Artista, we would joke we could totally make a movie about terror. It could be we can make a really creepy movie. Yeah, we just need to touch play and we can just film like a horror movie here because it was horrible. I mean the walls,
Yeah. But that's
but
one lens, right? You could have also filmed a love story in
exact
there or a poem.
exactly, absolutely, because everything happens. Everything happens, and well, and people that are in a psychiatric hospital, they need also to be listened as, yeah, like having an issue with my partner, besides madness or
Yeah.
whatever, like because we all do have those, So, but yeah, but when someone is in a crisis or in an emergency, they need to. I don't know. It's a different approach, and I wanted to, to be able to sleep at night. It's like I knew so, and I but I did not sleep at night always if I was worried about a patient, that was
Yeah.
going through something. Um, but usually it's going to be a team, or usually it's going to be a center, and I think it's the best way of approaching. That's why I did not do that in the private practice, because it's like if you want to work on your own and just you can refer a patient to a psychiatrist, but I think that the best way is to, yeah, to work as a team.
I think
So
it's a beautiful and rare
mhm,
acknowledgement that the folks we interact with do weigh on us in totally acceptable ways. I mean, the stories we share with each other don't just sit lightly on our skin like butterflies. They weigh on us.
yeah,
They
yeah,
become impregnated in our skin. Whether it's just a
uh
friend telling us about something deep and dark that they went through, and then at night
yeah,
we notice that we are having a hard time sleeping or eating or that our
yeah,
digestion was a little bit messed up over the
yeah.
last day, you know? We are susceptible. We are, uh,
Oh yeah,
porous in
absolutely.
that sense.
And no, absolutely. And that's one of the big challenges for being a therapist, because like I call it a filter. I mean, you have to build a filter because if not, you kind of end up crying every day. It can be tough. No, it can be tough. So you cannot end up, feeling the other one's pain as your own. So you have to build a sort of filter. But I think you have to feel the other one if you and that you see that a lot of people in the psychiatric hospitals that they avoid that. It's like they shut down and they, well, yeah, that's the easy way, but it's a horrible way because you're not going to help the other one the same way. Because and this specific uh, theme connects other things we've been talking today, like right before, if you don't put a little bit of yourself on the table, it's not the same, and um, because it's just not the same. And to connect with specifically with sharing your own experiences. For example, it happened a few times that I, for example, one time there was this patient that she had this horrible fight with her family, really, really horrible, very violent, and there was a lot of screaming. And so that day, I lost my own voice. When I finished working, I lost my own voice. It was like working. Okay, I need to work a little bit better my fields and blah blah. But of course, I couldn't share that with her because if you share that kind of stuff, the other one will end up being worried about you.
Yeah,
And
sure.
it's like, no, no, we are a team that I'll be worried about you, not the other way around. So when you share something, it can be very private, but it's always going to be about if it's therapeutical for the other one. If it fits that status of, okay, this is going to help you,
Sure.
you know, going
Yes.
deeper or understanding. So yeah, I think yeah, um it is about that because yeah, it's about that.
It's an intentional or purposeful self-disclosure, we could call it. I want to
Absolutely,
appreciate
absolutely, yeah.
appreciate one more thing. Well, we've talked mostly today about your essay on madness, which is called Resistance
Hmm.
to Weeping, Thou Shalt Fear.
Hmm.
We also have two other texts out in the world right now, and I anticipate many more over the next few years. Walking Cats and Dogs is a Fable,
Hmm.
uh, intended for a different type of audience, but equally entertaining for adults. And the Heart's Sad Joy, which
Hmm.
is a poem, a long one, and it's my
Hmm.
favorite style of writing when it's a novel in verse. I love
Hmm.
when you can read 100 pages of
Hmm.
half lines. It keeps the attention really, really wrought. One of the things I wanted to appreciate about Resistance to Weeping is that you start and end like two bookends with metaphors or images that help us connect a little bit more with the idea of madness. The first image is silver. You start with
Yeah.
this idea
Hmm.
of silver as something that needs another element within it in order to be silver. So what makes
Hmm.
possible, these are your words, what makes possible, or the Spanish word posibilita, which is a beautiful one, what
Hmm.
makes possible silver jewels is silver together with another metal. But we never name the other metal, even if it's 7 or 8 or more%. And
Yeah.
the image at the end of the book is one of the appendix. Um, I loved that one. Could you? And it's a bizarre way to end a book because it's not clear what you mean.
Yeah. That was the intention, yeah, because we don't understand really.
Yeah, totally. And then reminding us that sometimes when we don't understand it, we just slice it off the body.
And yeah, exactly, exactly. And the people in the psychiatrist hospital, they intended to do that with them, or be just silver, or the other part that you it's like, I don't know what's going on. You're not ready to incorporate, what you understand. You're not. This is such a big issue because it's about madness, but it's also about, immigration. It's about a lot of stuff. Like what's different, and there are so many people that they believe they can just keep what's different on the other side. And that's just impossible because you on your own, you're not just one thing. It's like, because it would be ridiculous, boring, and it would be, I don't know. But it's like, it's I mean, health is about, the things that they mix and when you can dance with a different situation and
Mhm.
individuals or you can take this, I think it's about uh, the most basic cell until you can take it up to society. I mean, like, it's not about, I mean, it's not about one thing. It's not about one thing that is more clear. And it's like, yeah, but it's like life is messy, it has to be. It has to be.
You dance with difference. Also, when you were being assaulted, on the street one day,
Mm.
you confronted this person uh with connecting with whatever it was that
Yeah,
was
that was so
infuriating them.
crazy. That was so crazy. Yeah,
Could you tell
really
that
crazy.
anecdote? Of course, it's told in
Yeah,
a
of course.
much more beautiful way in the book, but just for for the sake
No,
of our conversation
yeah, of
today.
course. Of course, I was coming back from. I actually, it actually can be a little bit different, or I can add details or leave out some others because like the stories are so like very short,
Brief, yes,
to make a point. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So that day I was coming back very late, later than usual, and that day I don't remember. It isn't this in the book. That day I've seen my grandmother that was in a hospital, and after that I've been working in the Borda hospital. So it was like a day of suffering and yeah, complicated day, and it was around midnight, and it was just 5 blocks from the train station to my house. I was living with my parents back then, studying psychology, and um, or just finished, or so, no, just finished, yeah. And I was in my own work. Usually, there are some places that you pay attention, especially being a woman back then. Lily, you would be just with a glance, you would know where, who's on the street and everything. But I wasn't doing that at all. I was just in my own world, like really focus on
everything you had
worriness. And
seen
I
that
was just,
day, yeah.
yeah, I was just trying to digest that and to. So I didn't even realize that there was this guy very close walking behind me. So so everything was in a second. Everything changed because I felt an arm like this in my neck. So it
Yes,
was like suddenly I had these arms around my neck. It was like what the fuck, and I felt something pointy on my waist. And this voice that was I uh, I think I will never forget the voice. Like no, just do whatever I say, and I'm not gonna hurt you.
mhm,
And I was so in shock. Like I think it was the only time that I was. I've lived few situations where you could end up being in shock, but I can always think, it's like okay, well, this happened later, the same situation, but usually it's like okay, whoa, I can. A second can last a minute for me, and I can think, and okay,
yeah,
but that was the for the first time it was like I couldn't cope with it, really couldn't cope. So my mind was like a record going like this cannot be true. I mean, this is not real. This cannot be true. Like this is not real. Like it was like this cannot be happening. Like horrible. And so uh, since because I know the first thing I saw was this club, so I remember the door of the place. So from that place to the corner is less, I don't know, maybe 50 meters, 40, 50 meters. So I was thinking that, this cannot be happening, this cannot be true. And the guy kept repeating, or at least I thought he kept repeating, like, just do whatever I say and I'm not going to hurt you. Just do whatever I say. So when we reached the corner, there I could like I could go back to my body and my mind, and I saw this house at the corner, and I could grab a bar of the
the gate,
of the of the gate. So it was, but it was yeah, two movements at the same time. Like I while I was grabbing the gate with this hand because I was like a victim, I
yeah,
couldn't do anything. So while I was grabbing the bar from the gate, I made this very with all the strength I have, like because the guy was at the back. So I did this and I tried to push him away from me. And it was that second where I could, okay, I need to like rescue myself or something.
yeah,
There I could I could go inside the time and I could think what I was doing, like really, it wasn't just this gonna be happening. No, this is happening, and I need to do something
Respond.
about it. No,
Sure.
yeah, exactly. So while I was grabbing this, I was pushing him, and that was this moment that was incredible, that was crazy, that was like that really saved me. While pushing him, I realized his heart was going so he was running so fast, so fast. It was incredible, you know. And so there, it was just yeah, just it's like yeah, of course. I mean, this guy, I don't know if he's going to rape me or rape me and kill me, but there were no other choices. It was just one or the other one or both. You know, it was like uh, and that street, I remember that was one of the famous, you know, oh, be careful with that street because
Huh.
it's like, you know, like very careful, just very dark. So we were almost entering, you know, the dark street. So when I realized this about his heart, it was like, okay, this is my, I mean, I can handle this. You know, it was a second. It's like, okay. So, and I swear to God, I started talking like if he was a puppy,
Uh-huh.
really. So, and so I just you know in a I don't know 1 second 2 seconds I don't know I really calmed down and without you know still holding to the gate and still holding him. He was
Yeah.
like I was in the middle. I started talking to him. What I remember for sure is like I said, you know, uh, if you hurt me, you're gonna be trust me. If you hurt me, you're gonna feel horrible. Like please listen to me, look me into the eyes, like look me into the eyes. And I kept repeating that, look me into the because I realized, I mean, if you
Mm.
connect with me, like yeah, it's it's not that easy to hurt someone, really. Like I think that I need to keep thinking that, you know, and and so that was one aspect, and the other one, because this aspect I actually realized later, but what was clear, it was yeah, of course, his heart is racing because I mean, because of what he's gonna do, and if I keep playing the role I'm supposed to, you know, if I'm the victim in the situation, if I resist this, is if and it was it's like I cannot fight this guy because you know I'm going to lose. You know,
Yeah.
I know I'm going to lose for sure. So I need to use my mind because
Yeah.
I know I can win there, and um, and so it was realizing that and realizing that if I was calm, I was out of the game he was suggesting to play.
Mm.
So it's like I took a step aside, holding the gate, of course, no, but like psychologically, it's like I took a step aside,
Yeah.
and he remained like totally in shock,
Sure.
and so
You
when I
changed the
realized he,
narrative.
yeah, no, yeah, so exactly, so when he was like when I realized he was in shock, uh, I I was aware of it, and he said, I don't know if this is in the story. He said, "Next time I will kill you," and he left. I didn't turn around. I didn't know where he. So I kept walking slowly at the beginning, and then after half a block, I started running like as I never ran in my life before, and arrived home like you know like with a shortness of breath and everything. Is like, oh, you know what just happened, but when I could understand the situation, it was so truly amazing. You know, so. Of course, I was lucky because, I mean, I'm aware that I was very lucky because I could tell he was not on drugs, for example, and he could have been in a state of mind that I couldn't have done anything. That I'm aware of that. Uh, but I was very lucky that he was not, you know, and that situation was incredible because it was a hand, you know, on the heart and realizing, wow, he is like, and then when I thought about it, that it was like so crazy, like realizing that I connected with this guy, well,
Yeah.
that's why I could turn it around, and it was like, you know, like it was a crazy situation. It
And
was
that
really crazy.
story is in your essay about madness pretty early on as well. It's
Yeah.
it's it's as though there's a lesson there as well for relationships with
Mm.
others and dances that go different ways, right?
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
case, he was proposing a certain move for you in a dance in a very sinister, cynical
Hmm.
way, and you
Yeah.
were like, "Nope, that's not something I would like to do
Yeah.
right now."
And you know what? I realized about the layers afterwards, but I wanted to add that story, especially because all the, I mean, all the ideas people have about like madness and what are supposed to be crazy people is like, oh, it's like and this guy was a regular guy, a regular height, a regular everything, the most regular guy you could see on the streets. Like the most, it's like you could see that guy in a coffee and I could have talked to him, like so I decided to add that story because of that at the beginning. It's like you judge you judge what's different so easily. It's like, oh, that guy, whatever, is dirty because he's living on because he's homeless, or that person is, I don't know, is too big or too, oh, he can hurt me. Like it's so easy to judge according to appearances, and this was the most regular
Mm,
guy you could see. So that's why I said, oh, I need to add the story because, and then I realized, oh no, there are many other layers here,
yeah.
about uh, so yeah, that's why it was like, no, no, this has to be here, and this is about fear, yeah, and madness is about fear as well. So yeah.
Thanks for retelling that. It's a really, it's a story that stays with you for sure. Is there anything I haven't asked you, Lili, or anything else you'd like to say?
Oh, I think we could talk for hours, and we could keep talking, So, uh, no, 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 no. I mean, there's nothing specific, Like I would say, oh, I have to tell this. It's like, I don't know. No, no, there's nothing really. Everything is moving, and it will keep moving. And I just want to go deeper into the words, and I want to keep writing. I don't know.
I like that line. Everything's moving and keeps moving. That was not the answer I was expecting, but it works perfectly as a response. I have some lightning round questions for you
Okay.
before we sign
Yeah.
off.
Okay.
Although
Yeah.
we can stay in debrief a little bit after we sign off.
Okay.
A skill you're currently working on?
German.
German.
German language.
Yes. Favorite way to relax?
Dancing and a bath. Yeah.
Nice. Not at the same
Meditation.
meditation too.
Yeah.
Okay. An
Yeah.
unpopular opinion that you hold?
Hmm. More than one. Uh, but I want to give context. I think we spent decades working on opening. One of the best things that happened in the last decades, I think, is being able to open a little bit the mind, the structure, the idea of sexuality, and now I think there are things that they are supposed to be in the way of opening, but I think it's actually they are closing because
Mm,
they are judging so soon things, and people are not staying in with the door open. They're saying, "Oh no, I'm this because of just one thing," and it's like,
mm,
let it be, man. I say,
sure.
let it be open. Sorry, but I cannot because it's risky to leave that with one sentence. But it's like,
Sure.
but you know what I mean?
I think that you're encouraging the non-use of labels, even if
Yeah,
they're
absolutely,
alternative
absolutely,
labels. Even alternative labels
absolutely.
can constrict.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, because you'll end up being caught in those.
sure.
Yeah.
Uh, one more topic for the future for our next conversation. And something you're grateful for?
Oh, so many things. Being healthy, being the people I met in my life, uh,
including the person
believing.
who including the person who
Yes,
brought us together, Alejandra, who deserves
absolute. Oh
a
my
shout out
God.
wherever you are,
Yeah,
Alejandra.
absolutely. Yeah, huge one. She's in the south. She's traveling with my goddaughter right
Okay,
now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm grateful about the people I met in the road. Let's say that's number one. Health because I had this issue short time ago, but it's like it's people I met along the way, hands down. Yeah.
a last one, a song or album you would recommend?
You're gonna laugh about this one. I love Metallica.
Okay.
The first show they did in Buenos Aires, it was the best show I've seen in the world. Redonditos de Ricota, also really good.
Is that a group or
Yeah, Argentinian group.
okay, which translates to small spheres of ricotta cheese? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. And let me think. Oh, hmm. Just one. I cannot choose one. I
Those
love it,
are
like, yeah, like 80s, 90s, rock, heavy metal bands. But I love techno music as well, but I don't know, I cannot choose, one album.
I think
Sorry.
that it's accurately surprising. You were correct. I was not expecting you to say hard metal. It's been such a lovely time talking to you. So many topics
Likewise.
left to discover, but I'm really happy to have been able to pick your mind.
I'm so honored about this conversation because you really you were listening, and it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Really grateful about this space.
Thanks for being here. If this conversation resonated with you, consider reviewing Therapy for the World or sharing the link with someone who might appreciate it. Until next time, speak with care and listen deeply.